Muscle Car Corner back for part 3 of Don's antique cars. And here we got a 28 Ford Roadster, a one-owner vehicle for 55 years. Very rare Roadster pickup. That's sharp. '29 Model A Tudor. Tin Lizzie era, the Model T. $525 base price back then for this car. 4-cylinder L head, 40 horse at 2,200 RPMs. That's crazy. It's got a 371 gear in it. I was never really big into these cars unless you hot rod them, and I do like to know about them and learn about them though, because it's not anything I know that much about. But I know that these were hot rod for many years. The 32 Ford Deluxe 3-window. 5-window coupe was the biggie, but these were the original hot rods after they dismantled them, took the hood off and all the goodies, and put a V8 in it and went away of drag racing. This car's from Alabama. It's a 32 Ford with, look at the original tag on there. That does have a V8 in it. I guess that was a V8 as well. I did not realize that had a V8 in it. V8 flathead. Wonder what year the V8 flathead came out. I'm gonna have to look at that. Big Daddy saw this at the drag strip back in the day. They put it back stock. It was restored in 1972 and put in this museum. Pretty neat story there. Ex-drag car, go figure. Well, this is what they did with them right here. It's cabriolet. Hood came off, all the bumpers. I guess the bumpers, no bumper on that. Whatever they could do to lighten the car up, you know, with a hot rodded flathead in it with 3 carbs. Bill Vandergriff owned this. Channeled it through 6 inches. That was the original hot rod back in the day. That's what started it all. I believe that's what started it for Big Daddy too. He's got his original car in here somewhere. 32 3-window coupe with a Hemi in it. That's sweet. Blue with red interior. That is one sharp looking ride, I tell you. '34 3-window coupe. It was restored back in '86. They put over $11,000 new old stock parts on it. One of the finest 34 3-window coupes in the country. 34 Ford Cabriolet. This was a basket case he bought it as and restored it. $1935 Ford Roadster, early '50s hot rod.
They were put out of business by Rolls-Royce. Their grill looked too much like a Rolls-Royce. And so they took a lawsuit out and won, took the factory out of business. You can see how much that looks like a Rolls.
There we go, 3/4 race cam. It's 3/4. It was souped up, as they used to say back in the day. Souped up motor.
That's the black device, and the other thing was a foot warmer. Look at the brakes. It's got hydraulic brakes, but the external fans wrapping around the drum. Very, very unusual.
36 Ford Roadster.
Very, very.
This was an estate car from Cape Cod. We've already seen those over there. We'll start on down here with one of,
Now this is an original Model B Ford, never been restored unless it's
in '53 when Don and Pat Garlits built their first drag car. They channeled a 36 5-window coupe
owner's name was Clem.
with a hot Mercury flathead,
He bumped into a tree with it. The buddy came over
mushroom lifters,
and killed him.
all hot stuff. 3/4 cam, souped up. Good old terminology. We looked at this one briefly. Drove that for many years. Big Daddy did. 37 Roadster, Ford Roadster. This was a basket case also. Disassembled back in '52. It's the only 37 Ford Roadster known to have a factory rear spare tire. Only about 10 exist today. That's neat. There's a rear end gear once again, a 378. And what that means is the drive shaft will turn 3.7 times. The axle will turn 3.7 times with one revolution of the drive shaft. That's how you determined gear ratio. 378 was a good year. Good gear. Wow, I like the color on this 37. That is really sharp. Purchased in 1978 with 65,000 miles for his wife Pat. She wanted a stock 37 coupe like her father had in 1939. In the end, the coupe got a 327 small block. Pat and Don drove the coupe 11,000 miles before putting it on display. They were proud of that ride right there, boy. I can see why. It's a prized possession. So neat that he kept all of his cars, and ones he didn't keep, he redid them to be exactly what he had. You know, memories. 37 5-window coupe. This originally had 36,000 original miles on it. .136 CID, 60 horsepower. A 39 Ford Coupe Deluxe. Original little old lady's car. For a lady who's chauffeur driver driven. She took it to the Rolls-Royce dealer to have it serviced. She might have had some big money. 39 Ford Deluxe Coupe. 221 CID and 85 horsepower. Super Deluxe Ford 8. The back tire off of it for some reason. An old dash. Wow, that works. You can put a quarter in it and pick a song. Crosley. A 51 Crosley. 50 miles a gallon. 26.5 horsepower out of that 4-cylinder. This thing's original. It's got all kinds of patina on the paint. Another Crosley station wagon, 1948. People who drove these were considered crackpots. You were weird if you drove a Crosley, per what the people said back in the day. That's what they said. All right, we've already seen a lot of this, so we'll go on down, going through these. Dwight Eisenhower's 56 Chrysler with the record player in it. Sure like to get a video of that. Studebaker Commander, 1951. First year of the V8, 232C ID, 120 horse, and 190 foot-pounds of torque. It just had gobs of torque. It's a really nice Studebaker. Big pickup, 47 dump truck. That's cool.
With a golf door on it. That means it has a compartment to put your golf clubs in it.
Well,
Beautiful automobile.
this is
It's
a
quite
film
sad
about
story
the
behind it.
museum.
This man owned it for many years right here in Ocala. His wife passed away and he got where he couldn't take care of himself. He had to go move in with his daughter who lived in San Diego. And she says, "You're not bringing that Cadillac to San Diego." The man almost cried. He called me on the phone. He says, "Big," he says, "can you use this 32 Cadillac in the museum?" And I said, "Absolutely." And so we bought it from him. It was ours. We keep a lot of things in here out of old cars. This particular, what you're looking at, is a case full of speedometers and instrument panels out of old cars. There's an old original flathead block from the factory in the Ford crate, original,
Wow.
never been touched. Hood ornaments from everything you could possibly think of. Hundreds and hundreds of different types of cars, weird stuff. You know, it's really interesting to stand by one of those.
He's got some neat stuff. I'm hoping to get him to come in and critique this stuff and go through all these cars is what my plan is, if I can get him to do it. More, I want to talk about more of the stuff in the museum and what he's got going on in his garage is what I want. So, a 1948 Studebaker half-ton pickup. Don bought this. Some guy drove it up in his driveway. I need money. He bought it for $400.
I see something that I like, I might buy it, or a model of a car that I might have owned at one time.
They restored it in late 70s. Wow. That's a rare truck, boy. You don't see many Studebaker trucks. A Studebaker Champion. I've never seen this before.
Expensive, some of these cars, you know, $200-300 they were at one time. Of course, in the parlor is a really nice place for the ladies to sit down.
Two-door club sedan.
Because, you know, sometimes they don't want to walk around and
A 456 gear in that bad boy.
they can sit in here and look at things from the
Not that it meant that much. When you had 78 horsepower, you really need that gear to get this thing going. That's for sure. Another Willys, 1940. 4-door sedan, 61 horsepower. Gobs of horsepower. To get that big old car going. LOL. Wow, that's a beautiful Chevrolet. 31 Chevrolet. Found in a barn in 1957.
When I was 10, that would be unheard of today. Of course, this is an old Chicory antique piano.
Don did the woodwork on it and everything.
I love Don's garage. A lot of the tools and equipment in this garage are from the garages that I started back in 1956. A lot of my
1925 Chevrolet rack body truck. It was found in 72 on a farm in PA.
From the early days, the way it used to be, when you would go into a parts house and gather up something, the
Restored and completed in 82.
everything you could possibly think of from a garage.
All new wood on the back. That's amazing.
It's all
A Ford Depot hack.
garage. That's a
Whatever that is.
There's the tool bench with all the different tools. A lot of these tools are really hard to recognize what they do. Of course, those are the grease gun there. That's a testing machine. There's a distributor testing machine. All the distributors used to be spun and tested before they were put into
The beginning of the station wagon. They were called Depot hacks. Wow, never heard of that. First station wagon. Look how tall the roof line was on it. They wanted to make sure you had plenty of headroom in these things for some reason. 1926 Model T Touring. Look at that lacquer paint on that thing. A Metz Roadster, 1913. Wow, it was stored from 1929 to 1967. It's only been driven 10 miles since then. Metz cars were 1908 to 1920. By Charles Met in Massachusetts.
Very good point.
Yeah, I know. If I want to take buckshot out of my ass for a couple days.
909 Buick Model 10. Another Buick, a 1909 Buick. That was a cool looking ride. A 1904 Orient buckboard. The cheapest automobile in the world back then. $375. A Moon. $3,000 automobile, expensive for the time. It was an expensive vehicle back then. Another Buick, 22 Buick. It was moved in, oh yeah, it was a movie car in Cross Creek, which is off of Highway 19 in heading to Salt Springs. That movie was made. The old ruins are still there. I believe the house still stands from that movie. It was filmed on Lake George and that area over in there. When you're going 19 north, heading towards Salt Springs, it's on the left-hand side. A 31 Matilda Dodge. They put $19,000 into restoring this back in the day. Pretty nice restoration as well. Original paint on this one. Looks like a 32 Dodge Coupe. That's an early Mopar product right there. You don't see many of those. It's original at 58,000 original miles on it. Wow. That's pretty neat. There's a 35 Plymouth 6 sedan. Another old Mopar product. It was found in a barn in 1974. Now, we've already seen this. A 53 Henry J motor. So, pretty cool stuff in here. We'll head on over to the drag racing portion of it. This is a lot of his cars that he's collected through the years and restored. Each one of them means something to him, and there's a story behind them. I would like to get Don in here and go over these cars personally. Is my plan. Hopefully I can coax him into doing it at 92 years old, but we'll see. Muscle Car Corner here, bringing you some of Don's prized possessions. There's so much small stuff in here. You could take a half a day and just look at the pictures and the posters and everything else. It's amazing. So if you get a chance to get by Don's museum in Ocala, come on down and check it out. It's worth seeing, no doubt. Muscle Car Corner, bringing you the antique side of Big Daddy Don Garlits Museum. And gonna hit some lunch and then go over and film a lot of drag cars, funny cars, rails, you name it. Muscle Car Corner signing out. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, tell your friends, and subscribe. Sure appreciate y'all.